Oh, good evening, everyone. Right, I think we probably should start. We're going to go for another rebrand on the live, I think. Just make it Wednesday night chaos, which is what it's clearly ensuing into absolutely every week. Now, I'm still at the farm. You might have gathered from the different backdrop. I tested the internet connection before. We might just about get away with this. This has taken me like right back to question time, early episodes when we were smashing it out up here. But yeah, it doesn't matter how many coins you throw at meter up at this place. It's really not the best. Anyway, I run the intro, even though everything in the intro is completely irrelevant, because at the best we're going to get some questions out of tonight. Anyway, welcome to Wednesday Night Live. So the reason I nearly didn't make it was because of an absolute shed load of golden corn, and it was today's. Actually, there was 2 batches of fish planned for today. Golden corn, first selection, getting the release of those ready for the weekend, and then those special DK Shiros from last year. They were supposed to be coming out. Sure enough, we're nowhere near that part of that. And I might have actually created a leak in the pond there going too. So time's going to tell with that one. We'll know in the morning if there's a repair job needed for that. But nonetheless, how the day went, I've literally just 10 minutes ago got in here and finished with the corn. And actually still not finished because we're shooting a full video for them. They're going to be one of the grow out ones for the channel this year. And yeah, we're nowhere near that. So I'll let Aaron go home and we'll finish that one in the morning. However, I must say I'm slightly sick of the sight of golden corn, but that has been a lot of fun. There is so many exciting fish in there this year. Obviously, I've got a few of them, but yeah, seeing what's in there, I've got the full array of them as well. I've got the Ginrin, the original ones. I've got the Kiyosagi type, the kind of Kimatsuba type. Absolutely every variation I've got in Toesai, and there will be a video. So there's a full video coming tomorrow evening, providing Aaron don't let the side down. And then after that, we're actually going to be doing the first release of them. There's going to be a release of 2 different types of the non-Ginrin stuff. So the Kimatsuba type and like the Kiyosagi kind of style on the Koi Online website on Sunday. So stay tuned for that one. Yeah, but I am very excited for the season ahead. Growing those, I must say. And as I stood looking at what's gone back, I've painted another one of them little pictures in my head. So given that I raised, I think 3 or 4 Nisai this year to 62 to 65 cm, and didn't have as many to start with last year. I think I've got this picture that by about February, I think end of February, early March next year, just having 20 ginormous Nisai swimming around in that pond. So let's wait and see. Should be more than doable. That'll be a pretty crazy grow out series to watch to get to that end point. So yes. Anyway, seems like the connection's actually holding up, which is good. But given that I've just been literally screeching in here, I think we're just going to be questions this evening again, guys. I've got nothing prepared, and even if I had no time to upload it, and I wouldn't trust this connection to get it up anyway. So feel free to start firing any questions you've got into there. Other than that, I don't think there's too many more updates to share, really. We're absolutely flat out just trying to prep stuff to get released at the moment. I have got Seemingly, I think we did a news update earlier this week. So on top of the golden corn release, I've got a pond prepared for grow out Toesai. So the idea being is it's all actually fish that I'm selecting to grow on anyway, but we're going to photograph them, do all the data and all the information, and then actually make them available now with the growing option for you guys, so you can get them now at Toesai money and have the enjoyment of me raising them here as well, which I think is going to be quite cool. And it's a huge assortment of stuff. You might have seen recently the Marido Ginrin Karashigoi I featured, got them coming. We can do that because we've microchipped them, so it's easy for us to identify them. Taniguchi Go Sankey as well, pretty cool. And just a whole array. There's going to be some individual golden corn pieces to throw in the mix. So absolutely loads going on there. I think that's going to be cool. All with the aim of getting the price point very, very fair, let's say. Very fair and very accessible. So more people can enjoy a fish growing on here as well. Just another quick reminder, fire in some questions. I'll show you what else I've been up to as well in between it all. Finally, I've been working on this for a while because I had one variation of it, but check that out. So I've been sampling paper stocks because the idea of this one is everything you see in gold, printed in gold on that, will actually be done in gold foil, which is going to be epic. So the idea being we'll get these done as a template with the gold foil so we can run them through the printer. Hence why I've been sampling different stocks, but very happy with them. Found a great company to sort it all out as well. So yes, they'll be coming with pretty much just about every fish we sell through the Ricky Stoddart Nishikigoi channel. And I have actually signed off some designs for the Koi Online one as well. So yeah, all happening. There's plenty churning away in background, always. Right, let's see who's here this evening. I am absolutely starving as well, so forgive me if the concentration's a bit. I literally just, the remnants, look here, of piled a pack of refreshers down. It is the office sugary snack of choice, apparently. Keep everyone wired. So I hope you've all been enjoying the weather as well. We are absolutely blessed at the moment, and make sure you do make the most of it, because us Brits will be aware it's absolutely nothing is guaranteed. Yes, buddy. It's actually doing all right at the minute. Wow, it's a bit cheeky, Jay. Let's have a look. Hey up, Phil. Not seen Phil around for a while. Hope you're well, mate. Oh, internal chat there between each other. When are your Tencho Goshki available? I presume we're talking about the Coda ones. I think were featured on a video. That's actually one of the ponds we're hoping to get into this week to start photographing up for release. Whether, I'm not sure they'll make it to the growing option, but we are hoping to get some of those sorted out. See, the big thing with the Toesai, I've not been rushing getting the Toesai out, with good reason, because first, it's the amount of time to truly get Toesai settled. Really, truly, they need around 6 to 8 weeks, and that's not only that, because once we get them up in temperature, we've got to get them down. And the big thing is, to make them robust, you've got to hit them with stress, and make sure they stand up against it. That's mixing with different batches of fish, all kinds of little things we do this end. And then amongst it all, you cool them down, which is a stress. Sometimes they react badly to that. You've got to come back up, then come back down. But in amongst all this, we have to remember that all the stuff we're about to release, stuff we have released, they're potentially going to unheated ponds as well. And it's only now, there's been some decent temperatures as there is, but only just. And when this drops off as well, the fall off is immense. And we're very, very conscious of that. So people getting your hands on all these new Toesai, if it goes into that kind of environment with huge instability this time of year, it can be risky. And I've just wanted to make sure that they are absolutely rock solid, get a bit more size on them, make sure they've got the weight on them as well, because when they're carrying that weight, again, it just makes them that little bit more robust and resilient when they're being shipped around, introduced to a new environment. There's really just no point rushing it whatsoever. Fish first, absolutely always, has to be the driver of all the decisions. Right, I can't remember where I got to there now either. Oh, that's it down here. Yes, man, absolutely. More and more and more. I don't think it'll ever stop. I'll tell you what, we're just going to go down that thread in order now then. Which breeder do you recommend for Goshki, regular or Ginrin? Who has the best Benny? Yeah, this is an interesting one, and I do speak from a lot of experience with this. My personal choice for the UK would be Kano. I love a Taniguchi Goshki as well, by the way. The numbers just aren't a lot, and it can be hit and miss as well. You can get them year on year. But Kano is probably going to be my choice for over here in the UK. Closely followed by Minima, had very good results with them as well. So I put those two because it's two very different styles as well and what they can do growth-wise. So Minima and Kano. Kawakami Goshki are, in Japan, they're right up there in what they can do. But let me tell you, and I absolutely assure you this, how they react to UK water, I would never go anywhere near them for bringing them back here. I've been bit by that once before badly. And I even went back for a second dose just to see if anything had changed. And it hadn't. They are not for me in this water over here. But that's no slight on the quality of them. Like I say, if he was after Koi show level in Japan, he would be right up there for me and where I would be looking for them. I just don't trust them in our water, unfortunately. Hi, Ricky. Can you help some of us koi keepers? So at night, I look out my window and most of my fish are at the bottom. Scrapes, find nothing. Then I Google koi sleeping, resting. Do they? Yeah, absolutely. Their kind of resting state is motionless. I think what you need to check for is the way that they sit on the bottom. You know, sat there, upright, fins out, not looking excessively mucus, anything like that is very different to their fins in, mucus in, laying over a little bit, completely different behavior. I think the thing here is you've got so many different angles these days as hobbyists, having CCTV on them, watching them out of windows, stuff like that. You probably tend to find if you go out, they'll instantly respond and come looking for food. That's that kind of behavior. They have to have that rest state at times, and it will often come in an evening. But when you can actually see them there in an evening, it changes everything. That's why I often have advised in the past that when you're actually observing your fish, and like when I observe feeding, I make a point of being in there and enough time that they forget I'm there and I don't really move around a lot so I can see their actual natural feeding behavior and not when I'm interrupting it. So very much the case that's it. It can be mid-water as well, but I think it's paying attention to the small details on that one to know that it's nothing wrong. But if they're all good during the day, like I say, you'll get that change. The minute you go near the pond, you'll get the normal behavior. If it was ill, it'd be less likely to want to move off the bottom. Evening, Pierre. Evening, Ray. Actually, you've just reminded me, Ray, we've got a Benny Come On reel to get out to you. My goodness. Do you want to put that one on list, Chris? Yeah. I'm going to get it sorted, Ray. So one of us are going to be in touch. We'll get that out to you. Looking fantastic still. Oh, Kev's got his delivery booked in. Yes, it's the pain. It's still painful, mate. I think the problem is I've come to the conclusion now we're probably just refilling the salt ponds too quickly. That's why they don't look like they're going down. What's your opinion on Genjiro? So I can't really speak from first-hand experience. I visited the place once, and it was actually on the off chance. I was exploring a road from Kansuke. And it's a road I've not been on before, and I'm traveling over it. I think it connected where Kansuke was back into Yamakoshi, if I remember right. I might have that wrong. But we passed this huge fish houses, and I was like, whoa, that's so bombed in there. And yeah, lovely bloke. Had some very nice fish there as well, must say. But I don't have enough first-hand experience to actually comment on that one, Adam, because it's still not anybody's. I've not bought any of the fish. I was tempted with a few bits back then, but yeah, nothing come of it. Glad to hear it, Neil. Fantastic. Evening, Paul. Right, what's Pierre? Hooked on NND video showing from 2022. Have you captured the before and after of the grow outs? Any chance to repost the videos and something? I would love to say we could, Pierre, but there's not a cat in hell's chance. I'm just about finding the hours to keep going, doing what we are doing, mate. So, and to be honest, I tend to be a bit shit at the end of the grow outs, but we'll be sure to do what we can with this year's, because this year's Kohaku are looking absolutely nuts. Here we go. Let's have a look. Hi everyone. I recently started with the koi hobby. Started designing a pond, but struggling a bit with the filter setup. Looking at a gravity-fed filter. Or looking at gravity fed into the filters, then pumped back into the pond. Yes, sounds good, buddy. I don't really see the question in that one, so I'll move back. But welcome to the hobby, and we will do what we can to help and assist. Might be a good one if you want to get yourself in the Telegram group. I'm sure there's a link in the description. Obviously, all the community members in there will be a guiding force to help you out as well. Still very good vibes and loads of help from everyone in there. In fact, the community do a great job of kind of representing for me, because I don't get as much time as I'd like to fire in there, and I am incredibly grateful of that. What will be the best arrangement for the filters? Oh, there we go. Looking at a sieve to mechanical to UV to bio. Yeah, so what you got to be careful of, if you're having the sieve, because of how sieves are set up, you'd have to go for what's known as a dual gravity setup that uses a balance pipe between the sieve and the bio. Other than that, you could maybe look at the sieve up to some kind of above pond filtration that you would pump over, which would work. So yeah, that's the way you would have to go with that one, mate. And the balance pipe's absolutely fine. You just need to make sure you create more demand at the sieve than the bio part to get the flow of water running the right way. But in order to get a sieve working gravity and something biological that's below, well, basically gravity, you're going to need to use that. Terence, Hikari, Deutz, yeah, take the Deutz bit out. Hikari is basically metallic, so that makes that one nice and easy for you, mate. Also, Colin, you've done an excellent episode on the NND show live with a clip from the episode 72. The fish were banging. Is the full episode still 72 on YouTube? Yeah, sorry, mate. I'm not sure. In fact, I'm going to turn to the community again here. You guys will probably know better than me. Can anybody help Pierre out with what he's looking for? Evening, Humber Koi. Nigel, my pond's at 22.6, not heated. Happy days. What I am still shocked at, my smaller ponds here, if I haven't been adjusting the stats, kind of like a 4-degree swing overnight, which I'm still finding absolutely bonkers. I have eliminated most of them now by bringing the stat to buffer out a couple of degrees of it. Kawakami Goshki do quite well there in South Africa water, I'm guessing that is. So yeah, there we go. Case by case, you won't know this stuff till you've had first-hand experience, as can be the thing. It could be that certain waters in the UK, they're absolutely thriving. They don't in mine, and I've not seen many people showing off big, impressive Kawakami Goshkis here in the UK. Stuart, hi Ricky, enjoy the pond sales yesterday. Are you doing any more? Good selection of koi. Yes, as we work round stuff, we're just focusing on this Toesai release with the golden corn at the weekend at the moment. So yeah, stay tuned. I think there'll likely be some tomorrow and Friday as well. Fingers crossed. What breeder do you recommend for Sorogoi? Cheers. Yeah, so again, off the top of my head, nobody particularly breeds a pure Sorogoi line. You'll often get these from producers of Ochiba, sometimes even Chagoi. Sometimes you can get sort of Chagoi revert back a little bit towards Achiba than Sorogoi, believe it or not. But yeah, so you're generally guided by those bloodlines. Off the basis, I mean, a Fuchi, you can pull a nice Sorogoi out, a nice colour. I've actually had the odd one weirdly come from Marido by them kind of reverting. Yeah, Fuchi's the one that springs to mind there, but you can get them crop up at a few places. Coda makes a nice coloured one. So, like I say, but there's no specific pure bloodline of Sorogoi to go after. Effectively, they're always a defunct Achiba, so to speak. Foggy, how you getting on, buddy? Oh, look at that, eh? Susan's email back anyway. Balls rolling. Glad to hear it, right? Satch coming for his kibby. Absolutely. You need to get some of that first-hand content back out in group, mate. You have been slack recently, I must say. Publicly shame you on that one as well. Having a new job's no excuse. David Martin, collection as well. DK be ready. Yeah, not this Friday. Picking mine up Friday. Oh, if you mean Friday next week, then yes, David, DKs will be ready, mate. My Goshki's heroine seems to be holding its colours in my water. I'm in the US though. Yeah, again, I mean, Hiroi Goshki, or they hold their colour. Any of these Goshkis hold the colour. It's what the Sumi ends up doing. That's the problem. And what I find with because ultimately to keep kind of floating Benny, the Benny's acting as a blocker. The Sumi's generally sat there under it in most of them. So it's having to block it out. And it just, there's these things, as I started growing them, as it does, all the Sumi fell back. So they look like shit Kohaku for a while. And then September came around, you get the light changing slightly, the temperature changing. Then all of a sudden, the Sumi, I'm like, wow, they're darkening up. I've got these pond full of amazing Kuro Goshki coming now. And then it just didn't stop. And it kept going and going and going. And they were absolutely trashed by winter. So, yeah, it did leave some scars. What do you think of using clay? Absolutely. It's one of the few additives I will use. I don't use it as often as I'd like to, just because of time. I'm not something I'm religious with, but I do like clay and certainly have nothing against it. I think it brings really good all-round benefits, and it's a good flocculant as well for kind of pulling crap out your water. I'm guessing that's my little daughter on the wife's account there. Hi, darling. Yeah, Susan there actually wanted me to be good because the little ones are watching. Right, Amanda, hi, got white spot. Was going to treat with formalin and malachite, but my formalin was cloudy, so didn't use, but put a full dose of malachite in. I've got some formalin coming. How do you treat now, please? Yes, if you've got it coming, the likelihood is that by the time you get it, if you've had, I think 3 or 4 days, well, you'll see with malachite as well by its presence in the water. So if it's cleared out, I would go with a full redose of malachite and formalin as a premix then at that point, because you need to, if you've got white spot, you'll never normally shift it with malachite. It's rare. You need the formaldehyde-based side of it. So I would generally, if it's me, you often see the blue dissipate after 24, 48 hours. But so long as the blue's gone, in my opinion, you're going to be safe to go again. And I would go again with the full lot then at that point. And yeah, you need to get that stopped in its tracks ASAP. Andy, hi, I'm feeding 4 times a day. All of my water tests are good apart from my nitrite 0.5. I have a Nexus 200, 150 litres K1. Is it okay to have 0.5? No, I'd like you to get it a bit lower than that, Andy, to tell you the truth. Just remind me though, mate, are you heated, unheated? How long you've been feeding 4 times a day? So it might be that it's just that you've introduced a higher feeding level and your system just needs to adapt. What's your KH reading as well? A little bit more information required to dig into that one. Let's have a look. Oh, same one. Hi, Ricky. How reduced do you think growth will be in an unheated pond compared to heated? The truth is, Kevin, it's all going to depend on your summer. Based on last year's summer, massive. Based on how this is going, if this was maintained, you'd have a fantastic year. But the real problem is it's the dips and swings that you get, because it's very hard. You know, if you've got a pond that's at 22, that, as I've seen here, is potentially dropping down to 19, 18 overnight, that's going to really affect your filter performance. And at what basis do you act upon at that? For me, I think you've got to do it at the lower end, because you're going to get this kind of dip and swing in performance all along. You really need to max out growth. You need stability. You need that temperature stable for a long time to build up the feeding. However, if it is like this for a prolonged period, you manage to get a decent bit of food down them. I mean, really, if you want to hit them with a good growth food, you want to be 20 degrees or over for a sustained period of time. Otherwise, the filters will struggle to process it properly. So, but generally, because of the instability, we're just working with what you've got. And generally in the UK, it's quite poor in the summer. Massive difference. Little darling. I wonder if Hattie's actually still watching. Not normally. She's probably pulling my house to pieces by now. Nigel, how's the saga coming on? Mine 3 years old. Benny just coming out and female. I don't know which one you mean there, Nigel, because there's that many of them here. It'd be hard to pinpoint it, but generally, all the Asagi progress is doing well. Do you suffer with blanket weed? If so, what do you use to clear? Not generally, and that's because of stocking densities in ponds. However, I've got one that's just causing me a bit of grief. It's one of my Nexus ponds at the moment. I use Colombo Algacin and have done for a long time. I don't like blanket weed treatments that go in. We'll know them, a lot of them turn the water bright white and just absolutely destroy. I mean, they go in like a bunch of Navy SEALs, just absolutely wipe everything out, get out, and you're left picking all the pieces up. And they can really change the water too quickly. I don't like some of the active ingredients in a lot. Algacin has never caused me any issues, and not any of the issues I've seen from using many of the other ones over the years, and how the results I've also seen in other people's ponds. What you don't want, and this is the problem, you don't want to completely destroy the walls of your pond, because that is such an essential food source that's growing on there. And a lot of these do completely see it. Your pond walls go brown. At that point, everything's dead, and they can stay like that for a long time. You know, some of these treatments in the past, I don't know if they're the same, were heavily zinc based as well, because it's good at getting rid of blanket weed, which is going to leave it residually in your water, and it's just going to stop the regrowth as well as causing your fish harm. So Colombo Algacin, for me, you probably see a theme there. I do highly rate Colombo treatments. A lot of the stuff, it works. Not the cheapest out there, but I think it's incredibly good value for what it is. But most of that stuff is very good. Yeah, good point there, Susan. A bit of salt might help against that. My red coin's absolutely flying. What did Taniguchi's parents say? Yeah, they're nuts, mate. Like I say, they're coming at the weekend, and they are going to be savage. But it's all the same. So obviously, from his creations, everything you've seen about golden corn out there, and the production of them, and there's more information in tomorrow's video. They all came from the same bit. It's just what parent fish he's kept behind, what variations he had that he's tried to continue to progress. So he clearly had the Nongin Rin stuff available, because there was the big prize example, as there was with the original golden corn that was doing the rounds at the All Japan. And then boom, before you know it, last year was some. This year he's had a lot, as he manages to obviously get the production fired up and going properly. But fascinating, the genetic pool that they come from. Yes, Sunday. on the website. So on koionline.co.uk. Colin, Ricky, received my delivery today. My Shinoda heel saw is now 38 cm with a great body grown on from 24 cm. Check that out. Happy days. The bonus is it may be female, judging by my two koaku chasing around the pond. Fair enough. Glad you're happy, Colin. And yeah, those Shinoda things, they did phenomenally well. Be nice to get my hands on some more of them, wouldn't it? I'm saying nothing. Right, let's have a look. I fed Toesai on frequent feeds, i.e. their daily amount over hour intervals for 16 hours. Should I be feeding my Nisai every 2 or 3 hours, i.e. more per feed but less frequently as Toesai? Yeah, so Anthony, I mean, I don't like the every hour feed. I think I like to give a bit of space for time just for the system to recover, process stuff a little bit. So you might want to look to possibly change that. Nisai, generally, I drop on to every 3 hours at that point, again, because depending on the size of the Nisai as well, they generally need a longer feeding window, and that just allows me to do that. Pond sat at 22. I will go back to it. Set at 22, feeding 4 times a day for 4 weeks. Right. So KH is good. You might want, I think someone mentioned it, you might want to look at your flow rate through your Nexus, could be an issue. How much media have you got? You might want to possibly, if you're not maxed out on it, I can't remember if you did. I think you might have mentioned that, Andy. So let me just have a browse back through. Oh, yeah, 150 litres. I mean, you've got scope for another 50 litres of media in there, which wouldn't hurt. But other than that, flow rate definitely one. I'd be on there. Let's have a look. And you would, just depends how comfortable you feel doing it. Going up in, I mean, 4 weeks is not a lot really at 20. It's a decent amount of time. You might have had a higher spike. I don't know how often you test. But even if you go warmer, if you hit that 24, 25, you'll get even better performance out of your filter. But if you not want to do that, I'd look at your flow rates potentially first and maybe looking to increase that retention time through the filter slightly. But it is, again, we don't know necessarily the quantity of food either. I don't know if you mentioned that to me. Let's have a look. No, so the 4 times a day, it might be something to do with the loading on your media, potentially. 150 litres isn't a massive amount, not bad. But bearing in mind that my 1,200-gallon ponds have got 300 litres in each. So, and you do see, I generally, my ponds, when they hit that sort of 24, 25 mark, it seems to be when the filters really become quite indestructible. Tony, do I have an update on the NAB mud pond koi being released? Yeah, so I'm just sorting out. They have actually scheduled it for next week, but the whole journey with my parent fish in Japan, she is well now, by the way, and actually feeding very, very well, which I'm very glad to say. Where we're at with the spawning, we are back and forth on it, unbelievable. So I'm just, they're scheduled for release. It might be that we just hold it off a few days and tie it in with me potentially getting out to Japan and doing it. But if not, Fujo himself's going to be doing it, and Rio will be recording it all. So we are very close, and it's just as Japan does. You know, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking like there was too much snow up in the Yomogi Mountains, and boom, like that, we're there ready for releasing Toesai. Crazy, crazy place. Nigel's asked there, look. So, yes, she is recovering well now, taking food well, in fact, quite aggressively, which I'm very, very glad about. Yeah, Craig's asking there as well. Thank you for asking about that. Absolute pleasure, Bill. So, hi Ricky, you've been vocal about poultry meal in the past. Here in the States, some well-received and respected feeds have some poultry meal, with fish meal being the main source here. that an issue? Absolutely is for me. I will never change my mind on that one. It's just a fucking cop out because poultry meal is just a cheap alternative to fish meal to buff it out and get the protein in. And the fish's body doesn't really know what to do with it. So if it doesn't know what to do with it, it's just going to shat it out. Absolute waste of time, if you ask me. And that is something I will never ever change on. The only viable alternative I can see is down this insect meal route. Seems to make sense. But in regards to poultry meal, absolutely not. And I should say anyone who would say otherwise is trying to sell you a shit ass fish food that's full of poultry meal as well. Oyster shells work well. You need a lot of them. Generally, you might be better with something like, because I mean, here, help me maintain pH. I don't see big pH swing. It's more what it's stabilizing KH, which they can help do. Lithaqua by Cusor is quite good. I think it's calcified seaweed, which can be quite good at help with actually raising and stabilizing as well. So depending on what you're looking for, but yeah, you know, they're very good at helping maintain. Just think with shells, it's the volume you need, and you need to change them. I think breeders generally change them about every 6 months out there, and they've obviously got very low KH, so they are quite dependent on things like that. Paul, updates on the condo fish. Yeah, we posted a message in the group last week, I think, and we are trying our hardest to get to it to give the full update on them this week, all being well. But they have been a testing batch of fish, to say the least, mate. They really have tested every bit of experience I've got since they arrived, to tell you the truth. But we're getting there with them, and they're actually starting to stack weight on and grow well now as well. Feed makes that you recommend, and when do you change? Presume water temp. If so, what temp would you change your feeding habit from wheat germ to a high growth? So yeah, wheat germ, I don't, not something I use. It was actually on a video clip we posted recently as well. I think generally wheat germ was made by fish food companies to sell fish food to people in winter, generally when you probably shouldn't be feeding. So yeah, I don't mess around with that stuff generally. But food wise, obviously sake akari is where I'm at with it. Different diets, I flick between balance, gold, fucking hell, sakari gold, balance, growth, and color, depending on the season and where temperatures are at. Apparently, we're going down to 15 tomorrow. Oh, God. I hope not. You've got it, Craig. You've got it. Quality. I can't believe that, guys. I've actually hit the bottom of the thread. Does that mean I get to log off and go and get something to eat? Put rest at fish to bed. I've probably got golden corn all over the floor in one pond as well, because I've not covered it over. They've been absolutely mental today. I said as we were netting them up, I says, watch for this. And they were all calm. We managed to keep it. The minute I actually started opening the net up, they went absolutely nuts. They were going everywhere, over my shoulder, you name it. Crazy. Richard, no, I'm not, but far too unreliable for that kind of stress. Plus, I think I've got a bit too much on for that one. Do you see any difference in performance between sinking and floating pellets if you feed sinking? Yeah, generally where I've switched to sinking is just because is catering to the feeding behaviors of the fish. When I've struggled with fish at the surface from a confidence perspective, I've switched to sinking. Generally, do I notice any difference? No. The difference I would notice if they're eating better, because they're more confident to feed, and obviously I'm getting the volume of food into them that I need the result from. So yeah, other than that, no massive difference. Yeah, fair play, Andy. That makes sense. You don't need to go up to 25, mate, even to be honest. 26, sorry, 24, 25. I think you'll be absolutely on it big time at that one. There you go. Look, Craig's telling me go and get some rest. I'm liking that advice, mate. Absolutely on it. Right, I tell you what though, seriously, because I am absolutely starving. I'll do these few that are here, and I am going to jump off because I get the feeling if I don't get these golden corn on Sunday, there's going to be absolute outrage. Colin's going sinking all day long for growth. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, as long as if you're feeding the same diet, as long as you get the volume into them, you'll get the same results. I've seen no difference in that respect. Did you make a video of sorting the golden corn? We've managed to make half of one today. I think we're going to make another half tomorrow, and then look to post it. Hi, Ricky, just a quick one. How much do you reckon a standard size wheelie bin of K1 bin holds of K1? I have got absolutely no idea, buddy, on that one. Again, I probably refer to community. I don't even know what literage one holds. That might be a good place to start. Let's have a look. We got Tom's koi videos. Yeah, can't grow big koi, feeding poultry meal. You sure? Tom, I absolutely believe you could, mate, but I don't choose to use it. You've obviously got a lot of single coloured fish, mate. From that respect, you'll probably get it done, absolutely. But I've fed, I persevered with the Coppens food when they changed it over to poultry meal. And if we're looking at it multi-dimensionally and not just growth and how the system's performed, obviously not massive ponds either. It was not good, and processing all that shit and waste wasn't good at all. But it's in a lot of foods. We'll make it work. It's a personal preference. I won't do it, and I will never recommend it. Anyway, that is beyond where I was at, guys. So I am going to get off because I've still got to trek home tonight as well. Yes, happy days. Thank you to everybody who's tuned in. And yeah, I'm not even going to say it. Let's just see where we get next week. I think we'd pat on the back for actually making it on as it stands at the moment. So yeah, I'm going to go and have my final check round because if I rush out, well, I never rush out of here because I don't settle otherwise. And then yes, stay tuned on the groups. Links to all that are in the comments, in the description, as always. And yeah, thank you to everyone who's tuned in. I'll catch you next week.